Hello and welcome to the Judge the Moment podcast, episode 1. I think I called this Afghanistan in Chaos. My name is Zero Frank, aka Nero, and I'm joined by Hassan.
Hi.
Oh,
I love keeping it short and snappy, right? Now I just need to start asking about how the weather is and stuff.
based.
You know what? How is the weather?
Awful. I drove into town today.
Okay. Well, you have to do something?
I was dropping my brother up for like his music lessons and stuff.
Okay.
What did we put on the list for things we wanted to discuss?
Yeah, it's good to have it up just so we can, like, if we get too far off topic, we can sort of get background to it.
Yeah. Oh right, yeah. Current affairs. Big boy Afghanistan. Well, brilliant moment. So I think I had a picture that just summarizes everything I think about of Afghanistan. If you go on podcast stuff, scroll up. There was a Reddit post from RPix. If you go far and up enough,
Oh, yeah, I see it.
the Humvee being used by the Taliban. I think that.
I think it was Con actually from my Discord server.
Oh yeah.
Summed it up perfectly because everyone's seen that video of the Taliban going around on the fair rides, right? They're on
The bumper cars.
This is what you do after you finish the main quest.
Side quests. It's like when you play Skyrim and you decide, oh no, I'm not gonna do the main story. I'm just gonna do all the dungeons first because I can't be asked.
It genuinely feels like the start of a Far Cry game.
Oh.
Like the terrorist organization takes over the fucking country and you've got to play as like some random dude from America. You have to be from America. Otherwise it ain't a Far Cry game, right? Now, you may say AJ from Far Cry 4 is not American, and I raise you he was raised as an American.
Yeah. Oh. But yeah, if you scroll up to stuff, I screenshotted like TLDR Global.
It's like the Taliban go down, respect women's rights.
Respect women's rights. The terrorist organization that is notoriously known for violating human rights.
I will give it to them though, right? They did let everyone leave, for the most part. They didn't just start shooting and gunning down civilians. They did kind of they basically got rid of them so they could do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah. But apparently, like, when the US funded the Mujahideen, well, I mean, that's a completely different story, but, like, that relates to the funny Rambo meme. But, like, apparently, like, in Afghanistan, after the Mujahideen kicked out the Soviets in the Soviet-Afghan War, there was basically a massive civil war between like factions of the Mujahideen. So people are theorizing we're gonna see that in a few years or a few days.
Well, I think the problem with that, like the reason that's going to be, if it does happen, it'll be much worse this time, is because the Afghani military just went, fuck this shit, and wandered out all of their military bases, leaving all of their advanced equipment lying around that the US and the UK have gifted, on top of whatever Russia and China is giving them. Because they may deny all, like, we're not doing that. We absolutely fucking are.
I mean, it's the Afghan National Army. Like,
Yeah.
how much did this cost the US taxpayer? I know it's like in the trillions or something stupid.
Easily in the trillions, dude.
Yeah.
Up there as well. I mean, dude, the scary thing is, right, the Taliban now run the country and they now have access to drones. Because the US gave a very big brain, they gave the Afghani military drones.
Yeah. Ooh, Predator drones.
Drones.
The Northern Alliance is gonna die in a few years with that equipment. Uh, oh,
To be fair, though, it's the Middle East, so I expect them to be engaged in a civil war in like 2 weeks.
yeah, I mean, it is Afghanistan. The country was literally like all the borders were based around what Russia and Britain wanted in like the 1800s. So it's basically a melting pot.
And then, World War One, France and Britain.
Yeah. Yeah, which is gonna be the funny part. But I had a meme above the TLDR tweet thread, which was like, oh, I don't know why Americans keep thinking that Afghanistan is like the empire killer. Like it's destroyed everything in the region. But like obviously American history is like, oh, everything started in the 4th of July, 1776. And they just forget that the British actually fucking memed on Afghanistan, like in the second Anglo-Afghan War. Alexander the Great literally controlled the region for like, as well as its successors for like 2 centuries or even more.
That's right. Like, you've got to keep in mind that with the recent war, like, they've obviously not been going for the we will take it at any cost thing.
Yeah.
They've been trying to limit civilian casualties because obviously we're not fucking degenerates, right?
Mm.
And that's why the war stalled, because if America or the UK or whoever wanted control of it just sort of went, fuck the civilians, we're taking over, right?
Mm.
They do it in a couple of weeks. And that's not me like going like, haha, like Middle East bad or anything. It's just a matter of equipment difference, right?
Mm.
What are you gonna do if they start bombing civilian centers? You can't do anything until you hand over control. Like, and we can do that without nuclear weapons, right? Like, you can just missile strike it.
Mm.
I'm not saying you should, but it's an option that's there.
I know, like Mr. Hassan be, famous left-wing socialist mumbo jumbo, big funny, small head. He had a theory about Afghanistan. Well, I'm not sure what to call it, but people say it's a theory. But everyone's saying like, oh, America went into Afghanistan for minerals, and like in terms of like lithium deposits and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure what to think of it personally.
Just the whole like America, haha, you want freedom, we got oil meme.
Yeah, that was Iraq. Yeah.
But I think with Afghanistan, it was more sort of control of the region.
Yeah.
They were just kind of doing it just to show they could.
I mean, the thing I think about like Asanabi's like mineral deposit thing that doesn't make sense is, yeah, you'd only get like an amount of $1 trillion worth of like resources, and I mean, this is Afghanistan. It's like the most unstable country in the area.
No reason why, if they needed lithium, they would do it there of all places.
They probably do it in Chile.
Like, it's not like it's a resource that's extremely hard to come by.
Yeah.
Like uranium or something, right?
Like it's
available widely.
Like if America really wanted to get lithium, it's literally in their backyard and it's in Chile. And it's like Chile's somewhat stable compared to like Venezuela, which is just awful.
You could always set up a trade deal and import the stuff, right? Why the hell would they need to go to war?
Yeah.
Mining themselves, right?
I mean, I think the way the US is seeing Afghanistan and Central Asia as a whole, it seems more like they're probably more likely to do a deal with the Taliban to get like resources anyway, because they're like probably the biggest stabilizing force in the area, which is ironic.
Yeah, it's ironic that the terrorists are better at keeping the peace of the damn military.
I mean, Trump last year in 2020 literally made a peace deal, quote unquote, with the Taliban.
Yeah.
And that worked out so well. The Afghan National Army doesn't exist, which is funny. I think that's all I have to say on Afghanistan. To be fair,
I mean, did you see the whole Lord Miles thing, right?
was it? The British guy that was stuck in Afghanistan.
Yeah, and it's like if he put up the 4chan post, and like his whole plan is if he got like caught by the Taliban and captured and taken for hostage and stuff.
Didn't he say I'm from Wales? And they released him.
No, they didn't actually capture him, right? But like his post before 4chan said that if he was captured, right, he is technically a lord, and by that he means he bought out those 1 meter land.
Oh, one of those like funny. You can get like a peerage for buying like 1 meter squared.
Yeah. So he did that, right? He goes, if I got caught, I'd pretend to be someone really important and show him the card that like says that I'm actually a lord. So, what actually happened to him was the tour guide who he was with, right? Because he booked the hotel he was staying at was like a safe house, right?
Was this in Kabul?
Yeah, he was in the capital, right? But it was like a safe house on the outskirts of it, right?
Hmm.
So when he found out about the the capital being taken, and like he saw the Afghani military just kind of fuck off. He was talking about it while he was walking up, because his tour guide helped him out quite a bit, right? Dude actually stuck with him at risk to his own life, which is fucking crazy, right?
Yeah.
Not many people that would do that. Big ups to them. So when they were running back to the safe house, well, this was while everyone's scrambling to get out of the city, but they saw the military ditching their rifles in the street and climbing over civilians to get out before them.
I mean, to be fair, like literally all the money that the US has put into like the Afghan National Army is also based on corruption. I mean, it's like
90% of it was worthless.
also drug money.
None of them know how the fuck to use their equipment.
Yeah. Which is why the Taliban now have like modern M4 rifles with like laser sights and foregrips and stuff. Crazy.
Dude, it got back to the point that he was like saying, like, you know how you gotta indicate, right, like how like in third world countries stuff, right? The way you indicate right of way is you just beat your horn. I could have forced yourself in there. Because people were ignoring that, people would pull out their AK-47s and shoot to get right of way.
Yeah. What else was I thinking about? Oh yeah, the Afghan president. What do you think of him like fleeing?
Howard, right? The first person to flee his country is the dickhead who runs it.
And didn't he take like 10 sacks of like cash with him as well, or something ridiculous? So he just fled to the UAE, not even bothered to like claim responsibility.
Yeah, he sort of emptied as much of his
Coffers.
and just left. Like in standard dictator style, even though he was technically voted in. But let's not get into the politics of Middle East countries and shit. Holy god, there is so much corruption.
I mean, the guy was literally propped up by the US, and he's like basically a dictator. But like, he's
Everyone who runs a Middle Eastern country is basically a dictator, even if they vote them, just because of the amount of powers they have while they are in. Well, sure they don't have the power to remove voting, but they don't have to appeal to a higher authority, meaning they are that authority.
I mean,
okay, I'm doing this, and this, and yeah.
I think I watched like I can't remember, but this was a video a while back on YouTube, or it was a podcast, I think, and the soldiers on it were talking about how the CIA and like JSOC were telling him to work with like local warlords who were like well-known pedos and ridiculous stuff. Like,
well, there is that like running really dark joke that a lot of the military guys pick up, right?
Yeah.
While working with the Afghans, they took fuck, what was it now? They had to give up both weapons and young boys.
Atrocious.
Honestly, it's so bad.
20 years of like constant conflict, and what did it result in? I mean, it's basically Vietnam.
Yeah, straight up.
There's a literal screenshot in podcast stuff right below. This film is dedicated to the brave Mujahideen fighters of Afghanistan, and it's literally Saigon, like at both the embassies in Saigon and Kabul having like a helicopter above it evacuating like embassy personnel. America, world superpower, guys.
Like, there were people at the embassies who sat there going, "Yeah, we like the guys who worked at the embassy, just going, we've been abandoned, guys." So we'll hopefully get like picked up, but that's not how it went, right?
Yeah.
What happened was like like there was two parts. The airport got split into two halves, basically. Half of it being controlled by the Mujahideen, who just took over the fucking capital city.
Yeah.
The American forces were holding the other half.
I know, like
They were quite amicable about like bringing people over to ship them back to their own country.
yeah, I know there was like a CNN report. Someone who like a correspondent in Kabul. She was talking about how a bunch of people were crowding around her. One person had like a green card, which technically would allow him to leave Afghanistan. I think another person said he applied for like a flight, but like he was told that the flight's full. Like,
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous.
people were just leaving on any flight they possibly could. It didn't necessarily have to be where they wanted to go. People just wanted out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a literal clip I think of like people trying to clamber onto like a U.S. Air Force
Yeah, the landing
aircraft.
right,
Yeah,
and like fell off and died and shit.
yeah. So yeah, well done, the U.S. government. I mean, I'd argue this started with Carter and probably Bush.
This started a long time ago, and we just saw the ending of it. Dude, hell, this war's been going on longer than I've been fucking alive.
Oh yeah, like the U.S., the CIA, like backing the Mujahideen because of the Soviets, and basically giving them Stinger missiles, which they were using against like the U.S. forces there.
Yeah, like it's absolutely insane how they didn't realize this would obviously backfire on them. Yeah, let's fund terrorists, guys. That's real.
Hilarious. But
Like all the like foreign citizens are sat here worrying, dude, and the Taliban are just sat there recording TikToks at the airport.
to make them look slick and like, oh.
They just sat there goofing around, having fun now that they've taken over the campus.
They're in bumper carts and they're in the like the presidential gym.
They're just out there going to fucking like they're just having a festival, man. They're just getting gym memberships, dude. Man, they're having a great fucking time. How could they not do? They were possibly the most successful terrorist group that has ever existed. They made the military walk away.
I love how all veterans of like Afghanistan say never go anywhere by helicopter because it's the biggest mistake ever. Because Stinger missiles, dude, like, you know, we had amazing ideas under Reagan to give the Mujahideen weapons.
Honestly, most soldiers aren't pissed off at the war's ending. They're just like, why? So, like, if that's all, if we got nothing out of it, why the hell did we go to war?
Exactly.
Right? That's what most veterans are pissed off about. Like, what was our sacrifice for? What did we go there to do? What did we lose friends for? And I think that's the argument I agree the most with. Right?
Yeah.
If you're gonna pull out no balls like that, dude, and not get anything out of it, what the fuck was the point?
Yeah. So that expands on to the point that I want to talk about. What's your opinion on us letting like refugees in? Because I know I've had very mixed opinions on it for a while now.
What, refugees from trouble?
Yeah, from like Afghanistan in general.
Um,
Because it's a human rights issue, isn't it?
Yeah, like the thing is, right, it does depend on that individual's situation, right?
Yeah.
If they themselves are under no danger and their family's not under no danger, they're not being threatened or coerced,
They shouldn't be coming, yeah.
there is no reason for them to be in a refugee program, right?
Hmm.
Now, let's say that they on the flip side, right, plenty of the US collaborators and stuff, US UK collaborators who translated for the troops while there worked with the US. They were supposed to be granted green card amnesty and stuff and brought over
Yeah.
here. Those people got abandoned, and I'm sure you imagine how the Taliban felt about finding out where those guys lived.
Oh yeah.
Plenty of people were dragged out and shot. So
There was on Twitter. It was a US.
like refugees and asylum seekers from Afghanistan are just dead.
Yeah,
US and the UK, we dropped the ball, we let them down.
there was this US soldier on Twitter. He said, "Oh yeah, this is a photo of me with some people that fought with us. Guess what? Because they collaborated with us, they're all dead."
Yep. Them and their families were probably murdered. Now, that's not to say some legitimate asylum seekers and refugees from Afghanistan won't end up here, right?
Yeah.
It's really hard to screen that kind of thing as well, especially when 90% of these people will not have any documents either because they're running away and they, need to be quick about it, or the others who are just trying to get in for work, who are piggybacking off people's misery, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
And those kind of people I hate the worst, really. That's why a lot of people have that sort of negative thing whenever someone says refugees or asylum seekers. They're like, oh, coming here taking our jobs, right?
Yeah.
Well, there is the minority that do that, right?
It's not all of them.
It's not all of them by any means, right? It's the minority that does that kind of scummy shit, right? Where they're not actually in any danger, but they will claim asylum seeker status just so they
Yeah.
can hear and work better, right?
And then that just reflects on the opinions of very right wing people saying that immigrants steal the jobs and stuff.
They'll zero in on that one facet of immigration and emigration and just go, oh lol, immigrants bad.
Yeah.
And while, years ago I was somewhat more pliable to that viewpoint, looking back on it, I was a dumbass. Because it's the thing you do, when you're younger, right? You just see everything as black and white when there is a lot more going on than what's obvious, right?
Oh, I know it's not on the schedule, but it could be an interesting thing we could talk about too. But I know a lot of people on the left now,
I'm going to touch base on everything that you've got as a topic, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sure it's not a big deal if we go off tangent like 10 minutes.
I think I can probably bottle it for next episode, I guess.
I mean, it's up to you, man. This is your podcast, right? So if you want to add in a little discussion about it, I don't mind.
Okay. So
more detail about it next podcast if you want.
Yeah. I know a lot of people on the left who back in the day they were really into alt-right stuff. They were into Sargon of Akkad, because let's be real, that is he's Sargon of Akkad, and they were into Jordan Peterson, who got owned by Apple Cider, and now he's in a coma, which is hilarious. But yeah, that's just an interesting thing we can talk about, I guess.
It's the wrong label because that's now identified with actual white supremacists.
Yeah.
Whereas, the definition of it's changed, right? Whereas it used to be, non-traditional conservatives that's now associated with white supremacists, right? So, 2016 was the peak of this, right? Where everyone was going, oh yeah, I'm alt-right.
And they call it the skeptic community.
Yeah, they were trying to be cool, right-wing people.
Edgy teenagers, yeah.
Yeah. And I think now, they're called skeptics now, right? Would you say? They're not everyone in that community is a liberal, like Sargon would say he is, right?
A classical liberal, but he really isn't.
I don't think he is. Not anymore, anyway. Maybe he started out that way, right?
And he just shifted more right and right.
He catered to his audience quite effectively.
Yeah.
Like, while it's easy for me to say, saying, oh, well, you shouldn't let that shift your views, right? Pretty hard to do when you're in the situation, right?
Yeah. That's a fun tangent. Well, that brings us into the politics section.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if you noticed, but like, man, UK politics is just awful. Like, I don't even bother with it anymore. It's just that bad.
I connected myself from it after college. Because you noticed how unactive I became in the political scene.
Like, I was a bit active for like a few years at uni, but then I gave up after first year because of my degree.
Stuff, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah. I did a few like activism stuff at like uni. So I did campaigning for like the MP for like the university constituency and stuff like that.
I do have that meme of you holding up a placard.
Just to suffer.
Still have that meme filed away somewhere.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is, right, the Labour Party is just in a really weird spot at the moment. It's just so weird.
Honestly, the reason the Conservatives have won, like what, I think it's 3 times in a row now, right?
Yep.
It's not because they're doing anything correctly.
It's because Labour's doing atrociously bad.
Labour's doing everything wrong.
Oh, don't get me started on Keith Strumber. Like, I actually voted for the guy. That's how bad I feel now. Like, he had a whole platform for Labour leader saying, we're going to unify the party, we're going to win back against the Tories. And I was like, okay, I'm being fed this pill. It's great. I jumped on that bandwagon. That was ridiculous. And then I just saw, like, I mean, this leads on to the topic that we were gonna kind of touch on to, which is like the whole Ken Loach situation. You know, the filmmaker.
About that, actually.
Yeah. So he is like a left-wing filmmaker. If you heard of the film Daniel Blake, which is it's about like a working class man that I think he ends up in like hospital. Yeah, and he was on universal benefit. He gets released from hospital when he dies, and there's a whole court case. But like, yeah, he got kicked out of Labour by Mr. Keith Strumber himself. I mean, for me, I don't know. I just feel betrayed, you know, with that whole platform.
The unity thing is what the Labour Party does need right now because they have no centre.
That's unironically what the Labour Party needs. And I thought Keir Starmer, I thought Keir Starmer was going to be that like centre, but I guess we were lied to.
He was chatting complete shit. He just wanted to get in the leader position, and everything he's done shown us that, right?
Yeah.
Him pardoning Corbyn was brain dead, right? What the hell was that about? Like, you say the Labour Party stands for, you know, like, all this kind of thing, and then he basically endorses an anti-Semite.
Which is another funny contested point.
As much as I'll make jokes about disliking Jews, right? I don't read it serious.
Yeah, like, it's, like, comedic.
Yeah, where, you know, like, COVID's, like, choices of acquaintances are a bit weird as well, you know, literally hangs out with the IRA on the weekend. So don't get me wrong, this ain't the same IRA that, like,
that did the Manchester bombing, yeah.
They did the bombings, but that doesn't exactly make them moral paragons by any means of the way.
Yeah. I think there's also, like, you remember the Kosovo thing? There was an image of him hanging out with, I think he was like a Bosnian, like, genocide denier? He was having pizza with him. Yeah, but obviously that relates to the whole I'm against any war of any kind, but like geopolitics is like you have to proxy war anyway.
For Corbyn, he's much better than the current Labour leader.
Oh yeah, I mean
you had a play to the base, right? You had a play Labour base, and he also like his idea to get young people more involved was probably the smartest thing the Labour Party's done in a while.
Yeah.
The issue was because it was Corbyn, all this shit, like all the bad stuff about him that we know, like
Mm.
sort of piled up,
Yeah.
and eventually got to the point where he couldn't just deny it and throw it under the rug. And obviously, he had to be replaced. It's just I don't think any of his replacements will ever understand that that's what they need to do.
Yeah.
At least from what I've seen, like none of the other potential candidates, I don't think they've got that in them
Yeah.
to play to the base and get new blood into the party. I don't think they'll be able to do it.
I'll say this before I get called out by like the angry Keiths, Drumbass supporters, and probably the Blairites, whatever. No, I don't identify as a democratic socialist. I I mean I sort of supported Corbyn at the start, but I was a bit of a skeptic later on, especially in like 2019, yeah, when we lost.
Yeah, that's when it all.
But yeah, I identify as a social democrat. Like that's my genuine position. I actually think capitalism sort of works, but it needs to be restrained. The state has a role in that. But like, there's gonna be people that are against that.
Like welfares, right? Because I'm left leaning, but I wouldn't really call myself left wing. But
Yeah.
like, I am liberal definitely.
As in like freedom in that sense, yeah. Progressiveness, yeah.
Leave people to do their own thing, like.
Which is very libertarian. Yeah.
Yeah, because, like, it's one of those, man. Even when I was more, like, hung out with the more right wing people.
Oh, the ANCAP or like libertarian. Right, yeah.
Yeah, when I hung out with those guys and they were, like, all, like, you know how they are with the transgenders.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, oh, well, there's only two genders.
They're not women. No.
There's only, like, they always get sex and gender mixed up, right?
Yeah.
And of course, I'm obviously going to get the people who go, well, no, they're the same thing. No, they're actually not.
Exactly.
I'm
Like,
not saying this, like, just because, like,
one's a social labor, one's actually biological.
I'm left leaning or anything, right?
Yeah, that's progressive. Yeah, I agree with that.
Gender is all about how you mentally identify yourself, whereas sex, you are correct, is genetic, right?
Yeah.
That's what you were born with, whereas gender is how you identify yourself, and an identity is purely mental, right?
Yeah.
And they teach us in psychology, which, well, some people say it's a bullshit subject. I think psychology has a lot of things that are important to know.
Oh yeah, in terms of like mental health and stuff, and learning how the human brain works. Yeah.
As a like, it's one of the those humanity sciences like sociology and stuff. I think psychology is the one that.
Sociology is just about how society works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Psychology is the main one that should actually be studied.
Yeah.
Because it contains all of the other ones underneath its umbrella, right? But
yeah, because sociology has some elements of psychology.
But B, like, psychology does actually teach you stuff.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm gonna sound like such a fucking communist.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Like,
gender is on a spectrum, right? You could be more feminine and you could be more masculine.
yeah.
Right? It's like when we're talking about androgyny, right? It means like you've got feminine and masculine attributes, right?
Yeah.
You could be a man and have quite a couple feminine attributes, right? But you're still a dude, and vice versa. You can be a woman and have a lot of masculine attributes still.
I think we've triggered the Fox News audience. But speaking of which, like this relates to America now, which is a great tangent. Mr. Andrew Cuomo, former governor of New York, just resigned. Do you remember him?
Didn't he refuse to resign even after he got called out?
He got told by Joe Biden. Yeah.
He was like feeling up women and shit, dude. Isn't he married as well?
Yeah, he is. Whenever I see a very beautiful woman in uniforms, it's just yeah.
Well, dude, he was one of the people that like gave credence to that whole like how left wing bad.
Yeah, and that I remember like liberals in America going like, yeah, Andrew Cuomo, he's doing such a good job with COVID and stuff, and now like whoa, dude, you need to resign, and pitchforks out.
Looking at it on paper, no, he fucking did not.
Mm.
Like, the thing he was praised for is because he enforced lockdown, right? And the thing is, you got to remember with lockdowns is every local business is fucked.
Yeah.
Did he? Dude, there was like a lot of running things about that, where like plenty, like local businesses like gyms and stuff who were going out of their way, like promote social distancing, not isolating people, wiping down every surface, proper safety procedures. Not even they were allowed to open up, but all of the big, not even local grocery stores were allowed to open. That's how bad it was. But
Yeah.
all the big names could.
Which is just irony. I mean, in
Yeah,
that sense, Andrew Cuomo was decent because he furloughed, I think, a lot of.
did give a lot of furlough, right?
Yeah.
But I think the problem with that is he should have opened up businesses a lot sooner than he did.
Mm.
He left it far too long, and while sure giving furloughs nice,
Yeah.
right? What the hell are you gonna get all the money for this now that everything's loosening up?
Mm. I think now that we're talking about.
America has the biggest national debt, right?
Yeah.
Making that bigger isn't exactly a good thing.
Yeah. Like, I know, now that we sort of talked about COVID, did you hear about the Texas governor? I can't remember his name, but he tested positive for COVID. And the weird thing is, like, with the Republicans, especially in like the deep South, they were all about saying how getting the vaccine or like wearing a mask should be a personal choice. So yeah, I know it was just a bit contradictory because like he's saying I'm gonna self isolate, I'm gonna protect myself and my family.
What they should do with people who refuse to get the vaccine is not like enforce it on them or anything. No. Just encourage them to the highest order possible. In that they're not allowed to do certain things until
Yeah.
they get the vaccine.
when you said the word encourage, I just thought, oh yes, we're gonna send the National Guard over and make sure we have an M16 pointed at your head.
It's encouraged to donate.
Yeah.
Because I don't think taking heavy-handed action will get
Yeah.
those people to do stuff.
They need an incentive to do so.
They need an incentive, and as bad as it sounds, right, it is the way to do that. It's the way to implement this kind of policies, right?
I think.
It keeps other people safe and it encourages people to
Yeah.
get the shit done, right? Like your children won't be allowed to go back to school unless they're vaccinated, right?
Yeah.
Like that was in thing. Like that's the policy that was implemented in quite a few American states before COVID, right?
Yeah. I think like as well. I think the way the UK has been doing vaccines, I say, is sort of how America should be trying to do it. Because like, if you get both vaccine doses, you get a passport. I think it's like on your phone on the NHS app, but it allows you to basically get into like venues and stuff. And yeah, it's sort of meritocratic in the sense that you have to get vaccinated, but like, it's an incentive in that way.
People, including myself, don't actually have the NHS app.
Oh, I think I have it, but I can't be asked like logging onto it because it's just too much of a hassle.
People have to write your name and check in anyway.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I think when I got vaccinated Thursday, second dose, but they give you a card saying you've been vaccinated anyway. Like it tells you both like doses and stuff.
Actually, most places don't need you carrying those around. Actually. And we saw quite recently, I think it was last week, people with 2 doses of the vaccine can now, they don't have to self-isolate.
Yeah.
They can. They're now free to wander around when they caught things, so.
This sort of links to the Texas governor thing, but also how the Tories have sort of opened up the country. But like, what's your opinion on like no longer needing to wear a mask. Like, I don't know, as someone like I'm in a family full of nurses, so they just wear masks all the time because like they know how awful COVID's been for them. So I don't know. I guess it's just a fear element.
What masks actually do, they don't prevent you from catching it.
Yeah, they mitigate
They
it.
prevent you from spreading it instead.
Yeah.
So if you've caught COVID, and because the symptoms take like 2 weeks before they show up, right?
Mm.
If you're wearing a mask, you're keeping safe. You're not giving it to other people.
Yeah.
You are limiting the spread. That is the point of masks, right?
Yeah.
Now that we've got to the point where most people are getting vaccinated and
Mm.
treated out, I don't think they are necessary
Mm.
in most places.
Yeah. I know, like,
In an indoor venue, keep them on, but if you're outside walking on the street, I think you're okay taking it off.
well, yeah, because like there's nowhere for the COVID particles to move, like land anywhere, because they're basically just in the air.
Yeah, but like most people, 90% of people who've caught COVID is from touching surfaces.
Yeah.
It's not from fucking breathing the air.
That's why I think at work, I work in retail, Sainsbury's. They still encourage you to like sanitize your hands, like moving in and out of like into uh like break rooms and stuff. I just like sanitize my hands anyway, and then I sanitize the table after I'm done, stuff like that. Just
One of
helps.
my friends works as a cleaner, right? And
Hmm.
like one of those contractors, like her company's been contracted to keep this building clean, right?
Hmm.
And the thing they clean the most is touch points. So that being, handles,
Yeah, door
door
handles.
handles, desks, cupboards, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
How people interact with a lot, touch a lot,
Hmm.
because stuff like COVID and hey, for basic cleanliness, right? Those are usually the most like dirtiest areas.
Yeah. I don't know why though. I still just wear a mask. Like in general, I guess.
The idiots who sit there in like cars on their own with masks on, I want to punch in the face because you seriously have a mental deficiency if you're sat on your
Oh yeah.
mask, right?
But every time I go into like work, I still wear a mask just for the sake of it, I guess. Because if I have COVID, I don't want to spread it to someone who I work with or a customer.
Right? And that's the exact kind of mindset we should have for this kind of thing. You're not worried about catching it because again, that's not what a mask
Yeah.
prevents. You do not want to spread it.
It should be about the greater good of society at the end of the
You're
day.
not a garbage human being, right?
Yeah.
You don't want like someone's grandma to die because you gave COVID to them and they passed it on without them knowing, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's scary about COVID because of how long the symptoms take to manifest, right? You could have spread it to 60 people and you have no idea. You could have spread it to thousands.
Yeah. Oh, do we want to tangent to the next section of the podcast? Esports, guys. So LEC Summer Playoffs is going on at the moment, but last week Fnatic played against. I can't even remember. They were playing against Vitality. Adam was self-isolating for a while. That was really weird.
You have to play online.
Yeah, Fnatic were playing from their office, and then Adam was self-isolating in his room. So when you look at the webcams for the office, Fnatic office, Adam's not there. And then
It makes me curious as to what they'll do with Worlds, whether we'll get everyone being shipped out to Korea this time. Because I know
yeah,
last time didn't everyone play from home, if I remember correctly.
yeah,
Or at least I think they played from their hotel in Korea, they didn't go to the physical venue.
because that'll be an interesting question. Like, what happens when one of your players, after you ship out your whole roster, what happens when one of them gets COVID? Like, how does that affect the entire event?
Fnatic does qualify because it's Fnatic versus these people.
Oh
qualifying
yes.
for Worlds. If Adam still has COVID, which he might do, like, who knows?
They were playing yesterday. I was listening at work, but like Adam was actually on stage with the team, but I'm not sure like how the whole self-isolation thing works in like Berlin.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, man, yesterday, I mean, we know like Misfits versus Fnatic. Fnatic won. I can't even remember now. Was it 3-2? Because it's best of 5, isn't it?
Let me check. Actually, Fanatics versus Misfits, right?
But man, people on Twitter were really angry at Fnatic. Yeah, but I think it was game 3. A lot of Misfits and G2 fans were very mad at Fnatic for pausing mid-fight. Like, I need to check the podcast stuff section because I put it in like.
To be fair, the thing is, right? Misfits did beat them in both the best of 1 series.
Yeah.
So that was week 1 and week 8.
Yeah.
Misfits beat them both times.
Mm.
So them losing to Fnatic here
Is massive.
It does seem like a bit of a coin flip.
Yeah. And people are sort of saying that whole pause thing is how they won. But
I don't think it is, looking at the game state, though.
yeah.
Before, right?
But it does say in the rules, I think it's rule 7.9.3, which I put in podcast stuff. It says players may only pause a game immediately following an unintentional disconnect, hardware/software malfunction, or physical interference, and must notify a league official immediately and identify the reason.
But if you look at the game state, right? Fnatic are red side, right? Or
Yeah.
Fnatic blue.
They played blue and then they played red for game 4 and 5, I think. They elected red on game 5. Yeah.
Right, well, during the pause, they, blue side, right? Because of the Riego round walk bug. Like, so he stole that ability and fucked up, right? If you look at the game state, well, sure, Misfits was up and killed. If you look at the objective control, Fnatic did actually have more dragons.
Yeah. I mean, like the team. What was the team fight for though? I just can't remember it. Was it this for Baron or was this Elder Drake?
No, this was like third dragon, I think.
Well, it's not that big of a deal, is it?
Misfits took 1, Fnatic had 3, and then I think it was for dragon number 4. So it was the sole point, I believe.
Yeah. I just find it funny how everyone's just mad at Fnatic for pausing. Like, it's literally in the rules that they're allowed to just pause immediately.
So at that point in the game, I think Misfits were technically ahead. It wasn't a lost game by any means. I'd understand
if that pause led to Fnatic winning, yeah.
If Misfits were like up, something crazy like 4k gold, right? 4k 5k gold, and like because of the pause, Fnatic wouldn't they positioned their team fight a bit better, got a couple of shutdowns, but that's not how that fight went.
Yeah.
It's not how it went off, right? It didn't win them the game.
Oh man, tomorrow's gonna be so tense. Like, I know I go to work at 6, but like,
the fans should be annoyed at Riot Games.
Yeah.
That must be in the game. Like, don't get me wrong, Viego's hard to balance, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to bug fix all his interactions. It's not that hard though, right? If you're still having major bugs with the champion, what?
How is this game ready? Yeah.
Months after his release, why is he allowed in pro play? Right? Disable him for pro play. They've done it before.
I mean, Rainbow Six did this like a bunch of times with different like operators and stuff. Even
casual play, right? Oh, he's probably fine for solo queue.
Yeah.
Same with Mordekaiser, right? I don't think Mordekaiser should be allowed in pro play, even if he was good, which he's not.
He's not. He needs a rework.
Well, he just got one. That's the problem.
Oh yeah.
Right. Old Mordekaiser was way cooler when he could ultimate the dragon, right?
It's like how
you kill somebody, you could steal their soul, right, and have it follow you around.
Yeah.
Kill dragon, you could go and use your ult on dragon, and you'd walk into a team fight with a dragon following you around. And you could also use it on champions, and each champion you used your ultimate on would have a unique effect. So if you ulted a Vayne, for example, she'd shoot really fast, have decent range, she's a range champion.
Do you think this is? Do you think? Do you think this is just like right to mentality? Because like we're seeing the exact same with Valorant, where they have to rework an agent Yoru because of his low pick rate, but also his abilities are just rubbish. And it's Yoru specifically for anyone that plays Valorant.
I think with Mordecai, the only way, like, all of his abilities are fine. They just need to revert his ult, but they won't do it. They should just give him his old ult back because his identity, like, is weird. Because his current identity is meant to be like a skirmisher fight type, right? Not extended fights, lots of healing.
Tanky.
But then you give him an ult that's built for a duelist.
Yeah, where you 1v1 someone.
And he sucks in a 1v1.
Exactly, which is why I play him support because it's funny.
A Mordecai could be 7-0 and a 0-5 Irelia with Wit's End and no other item could kill him.
If they reworked the ult where if you use the ult and in a certain radius, it's not just a 1v1, let's say you have teammates with you and they're in that circle with the enemy, then it's just a team fight between those and you can't get involved. That'll be a more interesting dynamic for Mord. Yeah, exactly. Is in a team fight within that circle.
Problem with that is it'd make it way too easy to like shut down.
Team fight, yeah.
Like you can isolate them and then you've got one other person who win.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like even currently with Mordecai, like that is actually something that you can do to tilt a team fight in your favor.
Like I know there's a lot of people that want Riot to rework some champions instead of just introducing new ones, but I guess that's what happens when you get a MOBA with like a lot of champions, I guess.
I think the problem is sticking with League is they won't do that because it's not marketable.
Yeah. But if you're Rainbow Six, you can.
Amount of money already, right?
Yeah, League.
Make more.
Yeah, you can make money off the esports side, and that's it.
They already make insane amounts of money from skin sales and esports, dude.
Oh yeah, don't even start me on Valorant. Like
selling the skins, right? But maybe if you're working on new champions, fix your old one.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I don't think it's a tall order, right? Because while the champion roster is huge, it probably takes just as much time to invent all these new champions.
Yeah. This is the one thing that scares me, like, in regard to hero shooters and MOBAs, because, like, yeah, you can have a very good, like, past champions, agents, etc., what you want to call them, but when you introduce a new one, it just completely neglects the old ones.
Especially, I'm sure you've seen all the memes of, like, how many passives they can put on one champion, right?
Yeah.
I think that sounds cool, but, right, don't get me wrong, I think he's a really interesting champion.
Oh, Mr. Funny Indian Man.
Yeah, literally me as a champion, by the way. Yeah, like, I think he's cool, right? But the problem is, right? Nasus has a passive where it's called Soul Siphon. All it does is Nasus gains lifesteal based on level. And it shows you scaling.
Isn't his ult you can revive someone as well?
That's not actually.
Oh, that's the new champ that I can't remember the name for.
Let me.
Or am I thinking of someone else? I'm not sure.
Zillion has the revival.
Ah. I just find it funny as well. Like sometimes Riot's response to destroying a meta is to just introduce a champion that literally just destroys the entire meta. They did that with Valorant. They introduced a new agent that basically prevents anyone from using abilities. Yeah.
Right? That's the passive of his W, and that's it. That's not even his entire kit.
What is this like a manifesto pledge? What is this? When enemy champion kills one. Oh god. And then you got Pantheon. Pantheon hurts his spirit and his opponent dealing damage. Like
it shows you all the damage calculations when you're actually
yeah.
how much BP does, right?
Chad Pantheon. This is why I just play him on support. He's just great.
And then like I think what they're doing with all their recent champions is they're shifting it away from abilities and putting all of a champion's power in their passes, which, from a balance perspective, is way smarter.
Yeah.
Because the strongest champions in the game are the simplest ones.
But doesn't that make gameplay boring though?
Yeah, exactly. Why do you think Seth has such a high pick rate in every single lane?
Because of his passives.
No, nothing to
Oh.
do with his passes.
Oh, it's his abilities, yeah.
He is so simple, it's crazy, right? Like, he has a 1-2 punch as invasive attacks, right?
Yeah.
One is fast and the other one does more damage, right? His passive, he gets healing he gets more regen as his HP goes down. That's it.
Yeah.
His punches do max HP damage.
Mm.
His W, if he takes a bunch of damage, you press W and don't take a bunch of damage, you can do it back. His E is, I stun this person and this person. And his ult is, you're going this way.
This is why I just enjoy playing Pantheon, because he's, I don't know, in terms of gameplay, he's just fun.
Right? And that's why he's strong. He's not picked in pro play,
Yeah.
because that's a completely different meta, right?
Yeah.
But he's strong as a support pick because of how simple he is.
Yeah.
Walk up, press W, get your pre-auto.
Press Q. Hold Q, and then throw spear. Spear do damage, spear go brrr. Come on. Yeah, exactly. E, negate damage, does nothing.
The best champions to climb to, like, decent elo with if you're new at the game is Garen. And I don't think I need to explain to anyone who knows anything about League of Legends how easy Garen is.
Garen, W, was it W? He does funny spin.
E is spin.
He is spin. He is Chinook helicopter leaving Kabul.
In the mid lane, right? Annie is such a strong pick.
He's mid and top, isn't he?
Garen's purely top.
Oh, right, yeah.
He's useless anyway. You can play him mid for a meme if they pick his head or something like that, right?
I played him once, I think, and then I just gave up because I just realized how much I hate top.
Yeah.
Support's just funny, bro. Like, I love it.
You got loads of picks like that in every lane, right? Annie is probably the easiest mid laner in the world because every 4 abilities, her next ability is a stun, right? A full combo of RWQ, electrocute, ignite, full HP every time, and she can do that on repeat once she gets ult back. Throw in a flash.
I think you cut it there from me, I think. Yeah, it was just like the last 5 seconds, I think. There you cut it again. Yeah, thanks Discord. I think you're cutting out again. Hello? Wow, yeah. Do you want to move on to the last section? Wow, Discord's just awful today. Really bad. It's working now. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, it's really weird. But man, oh, we should just get a whole episode dedicated to talk about League. That'll be fun.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm not going to say I'm the most knowledgeable person, but
Yeah.
I'm probably nowhere near the best person I know either. But it is an interesting subject, dude. Like, because it's a game that's really, really old. I mean, it launched in 2010.
And then the first Worlds was 2011, and if you're an esports historian, Big Boy Fnatic, dude, their only world title was 2011.
G2 still hasn't won one, by the way.
Based, let's go. G2 cringe, haha, XD. Reckless is completely overrated, but that's my opinion. I hope you get some salts if you are a G2 fan, because screw you.
As you can tell, Nero's quite the fanatic.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I don't really have a horse in the race, to be honest.
mm,
Like, I'm more interested in players when I'm watching Pro League. Right? I
yeah.
want to see like how well a player will be. That's why I'm really happy that SKTT1 is going to Worlds. Right?
Oh, SK Telecom, bro.
Yeah, we'll be seeing Faker at Worlds. Right?
Again.
Again.
I mean,
They actually still have the most world titles as well, so it's quite
yeah. Adam, man, like the way he's playing in Fnatic top, he just works so well. Like, I'm pretty sure he's from like tier two, isn't he, or something?
Yeah.
Like he was French league, like French national league. Now he's playing at like, one of the big orgs in Europe.
He might have been wildcards actually. I'm not sure.
Oh, I think that's enough league for now. What did I put? Final section.
Unless you want to really get into Bloodfell being dog shit at jungle for half the season until he learned what he was doing.
Man, Sam Matthews, man, what are you doing? Like,
We're pretty good at the jungle now, right?
yeah, yeah.
Against any other jungler who's like got experience, he's outclassed.
Exactly. I think that's where they lost a bunch of like the only time they've lost to Vitality last week was because of plays against Self-Made, or it's because the team all moves into jungle and they make a play off killing Self-Made, which
Now,
makes sense.
as long as Jankos doesn't play Nidalee, he
Oh,
probably has the advantage over Whippo in the jungle,
yeah.
right?
I
Just experience, Jankos has played the game in jungle for
ages, yeah.
right? And as much as funny as it is to meme on his Nidalee, right? He's very good at the role.
Mm. I hope
So
I really hope this statement doesn't age badly, but man, I really loved that Fnatic versus G2 3-2 haha XD. Fnatic going to Worlds. That's gonna age badly, it's fine, don't worry
it'll
about
be
it.
a close one or a stomp.
Yeah.
Because you think the way it'll go, right? Is if it goes as is, and you know, if G2 exploits the weakness, either bot side that Fnatic has over
Yeah.
the jungle, right?
They're gonna win. Schedule, right. Final section's what we're up to, so we can talk about games we're playing, TV shows and stuff. So you can start if you want, Has.
In that case, I in Mass Effect from the beginning, as I'm sure Nero's noticed.
Oh, Mass Effect. I've never played it. I need to get it. Thinking about, yeah.
I mean, do not buy the Legendary Edition, no matter how much EA wants to shove it down your throat.
Hmm. Oh, I have to go on Origin based.
You can get it on Steam.
Oh.
Buy the trilogy separately, so buy 1, 2, and 3 separately. And
Okay.
not because it's cheaper or anything, because it'll probably cost you more in the long run. But even though they said they weren't going to remove content for Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which contains all of the games in one, right?
Mm.
They did. They removed a lot of the little things and changed quite a few of their fucking character designs and little bits of dialogue.
Yeah.
So if you want to get the full Mass Effect experience, do not buy the Legendary Edition. It's a fucking scam. And like before people say, oh, but the graphics are so outdated for Mass Effect 1, there's a modding community for a reason. Put in that little bit more effort and you can have a more enjoyable game.
Hmm. What's the story about though? Like the gist of it. I mean, I know it's about humans being very new to like space technology and stuff.
Well, basically, in like, I forget what year it was specifically, but humans discovered a technology known as Mass Effect fields. And essentially, that enabled us, like, faster than, like, space travel.
Right.
And that's when we discovered the wider galactic community, so aliens stuff, right?
Mm.
We engage in a long-ass war, you know, with one group of those aliens. That's all settled, and now we've been integrated into greater galactic society.
So like a galactic community, basically.
Yep. You're a Marine who works for the Alliance.
Okay, so Shepard, yeah.
Which is basically the United Nations sort of takes control of the world and is renamed to the Alliance.
So you... Okay. Well, you know what I've been playing, but I don't think the audience do.
got more pressing issues to worry about than our own differences, which...
Mm.
No way in hell that'd fly in real life. Well, hey, they got it right.
Speaking of hilarious sci-fi games, like man, I've been loving what I've been playing, but continue fine because you know.
And no, basically, essentially, you get selected for this elite Black Ops group that is run by the Galactic Council.
Ah,
Because, you know, you're like dead cool marine man or
big
woman.
funny marine.
And, basically you figure out there's this group of AI that wipes out the galaxy of all high-tech sentient life every 50,000 years.
Mm,
Your job is to A, stop that and B, convince people that exist.
cool.
And that's the entirety of the story.
Well, I mean, you know what I've been playing,
But anyway.
and man, Halo Master Chief Collection. So, oh, so good. Uh, so yeah, I've just finished Halo 2 Anniversary, man, and I'm on Halo 3. And I understand why everyone says Halo 3 is the best one. Like, genuinely, it's so good. I'm up to that part where I think you just enter the ruins of like New Mombasa, I think. So it's scaling up. I got very confused. You know, at the start where you crash land on Earth. I thought we were on the Halo ring for some reason, but then I realized there's like human stuff here, like structures and things. And then I realized that there's like a comic series that explains like what happens between Halo 2 and 3.
Yeah. There is a lot that goes on between them. I mean, honestly, if you want the full story, you actually are better off reading the comics rather than actually playing the game. The game doesn't give you most of the story. Yeah, you don't even get any of the cool shit with Halsey. You don't even know. You don't even know half the shit she's done. Like half the stuff she's done.
I know, like, isn't there's the Halo novels, like The Fall of Reach and etc. Apparently, like, that's very contradictory to the Halo Reach game. I don't know, but like, apparently that's what I've been watching Halo videos by Eckhart's Ladder.
Problem is the Fall of Reach and the book, and then Halo Reach itself. Is that I don't think we ever get like a perfect timeline of when both of those events happen.
Yeah.
So we don't know. We know it happened in between which games, just based on information we get like about Halsey and Chief, because Halsey is in the game, as you saw.
Yeah, when we were playing co-op again of Reach. Yeah, she was. Yeah.
She's the one who's getting your do stuff for her, right?
That's why George hates him, I guess.
While you're trying to get you back to do.
Hmm.
Because, you know, the Covenant are there to take Forerunner artifacts.
And also eliminate humanity at the same time.
I mean, that's just a side goal for them, to be honest.
Yeah. Because, the Covenant basically just see humanity as a threat. Like, I mean, I know the lower reasons, but I don't know. Is it really spoilers, though?
No, dude, how old is the Halo?
Yeah, okay.
Don't get spoilers now, bro. Like, I'm sorry, but you had time.
Yeah, but the TV show stuff, I think we'll have to put a spoiler warning. But like, yeah, yeah.
Before we get into it.
But yeah, humans are basically like the chosen race, I guess, for like the Forerunners, I think. So that's why they can activate the halos and stuff.
I think while it's interpreted as that, I think more likely the reason that humans can interface with the Forerunner tech is because they're the race that's most similar to the Forerunners themselves.
As in, like, they're bipedal and
similar. They're probably bipedal mammals that evolved in an environment similar to Earth.
Oh.
Maybe we have some Forerunner DNA in that universe, but
yeah.
I'm not sure. Like, it's either that they evolved in a similar place, or
so they're like apes that evolved into like weird hairless apes, but they technologically became more superior.
Or the Forerunners influenced our own evolution. But
yeah,
it's probably the more likely one given what we know the Forerunners are capable of. I mean, we've seen the Halo rings. Right?
Yeah, they've been making ring worlds. So like, yeah, they're able to create life.
Yeah, they make ring worlds. They created the Flood.
Hmm. Was that an accidental thing?
Yeah, dude. Every sci-fi universe has the. Oh no, we accidentally made a viral race that can take control of everything. Oh
Hell
no.
yeah, Stellaris.
Every universe.
Uh,
40k, even though, well, I guess the NIDs weren't really created from what we know.
Stellaris hive mind devouring storm.
Yeah, dude, Halo, Warframe,
Hmm.
list goes Star Wars, list goes on, man.
Oh well, in the Legends continuity of Star Wars, yeah. Is it really picked
Like,
up in canon? Speaking
well,
of
no.
Star Wars, I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone here's finished
Well,
the Bad
if
Batch.
they're okaying Old Republic, then yes.
Okay.
Which, given they accept Revan exists, they
Yeah, that was
probably
in
are
episode
okay.
9. They named the Legion
Yeah,
after him, which is
they'll
going
be
to be
okay.
fun.
If they okay all of Old Republic, which they probably will, none of that's really.
Yeah. They might
None of
tone
it
down
is
the
fun.
technology stuff though, but like it'll probably be the same in terms of like.
I think they can get away with the tech stuff, to be
Hmm.
honest. Because similar to how the Empire's tech keeps getting worse, which it does, like the old Republic Empire, they had capital ships that could destroy planets, and these they had star destroyers that could destroy planets.
Hmm.
Whereas we had the Death Star instead, right?
Yeah.
And the same with the Republic, right? I mean, the Mandalorian wars were fucking hilarious.
Uh, Speaking of TV shows, Bad Batch. Have you finished it?
I got halfway through it. I didn't quite finish watching it, but I've heard the last couple of
It's
episodes
so
are
good.
absolutely
It's
so
amazing.
beautiful.
Uh,
Like Cal was telling me right that he finished watching two of the last two episodes, and yeah, nah, been recommended to finish it. So
I'm not. Are you okay with spoilers? Because this is where the spoiler warning stuff comes in. But it's more not to do with like the ending, but it's more to do with like a general thing.
yeah, nah, spoiler. My philosophy with spoilers is just sort of sure why not because I'll forget about it when it when I go to watch it anyway.
Yeah, but I think what Dave Filoni and John Favreau are doing with like the shows. Personally, I think they're gonna do a Thrawn trilogy. It
Yeah,
seems that
yeah.
way. Yeah.
They're not
Uh,
gonna complain. Phone is a Chad.
it's so Chad. I can't wait until like the Ahsoka series because they're gonna bring him back. And like I watched Rebels and like I don't know, the ending was sort of satisfying for Rebels, but like it'd be interesting to see what him and Ezra were doing, like in the middle of nowhere.
What order are they releasing this in? Right? We've got the Kenobi series that they've finished recording.
Yeah,
Actually,
they're doing post production now. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Is it really spoiler though? Uh, it relates to the Kaminoans, but like, uh, okay. Basically, Nala Say gets taken off Camino. I won't get onto the rest of what happens to Camino, but basically, she gets sent to a secret facility. Have you heard of this place in Legends called Mount Tartus? It was like a
Yeah,
Legends location. It was like where Thrawn conquered it. It was a secret vault for the Emperor. In canon, I think it's said to be like a cloning facility. And one of the scientists that greets Nelsa at the end of Bad Batch, she wears like a uniform similar to Dr. Pershing in The Mandalorian. So I know.
oh, so they are trying to tie it
Yeah.
in.
I have a feeling this is like the beginning of the Thrawn trilogy because I feel like the Mandalorian is more like a precursor to the Thrawn stuff.
Official. I think we can go ahead with the new trilogy's been retconned out of canon.
Yeah, I mean, there's if you've watched Rebels, there's the world between worlds, which sort of shows different parts of Star Wars history. So it's I don't know, it could be a possibility that they just remove that from canon and change how everything's happened.
If they want to get as much money out of the universe, and B, they actually, for some reason, care about the story, which they don't, this is Disney.
Yeah, it's Disney.
If they want to get as much money out of it as they can, it makes no sense to keep these, like, sequel trilogy in the canon, because it
Yeah.
sort of kills any chance of.
I mean, it could be an alt history thing. for Star Wars. To be fair, if they retcon it out like through like the world between worlds, which by the way was in the poster for the Ahsoka series, like all the symbolism for it was there.
So they could do that.
Yeah.
They could just do like a hard time travel or alternate universe.
Yeah,
stuff.
it's how Ezra in Rebels. I mean, this isn't even spoilers. Like the show's old now, but like Ezra saves Ahsoka from Vader by pulling her out of like that fight on Malachor, basically, and that's how she survives.
Yeah, because she was assumed dead.
Yeah. So the possibility of just changing the entire Star Wars universe is there. Like they have the tools to do it. I don't want to remember what the sequel trilogy is. That was awful.
I mean, to be fair, mate, like with the shows and stuff, we'll never catch up to it anyway.
Yeah.
So I can just pretend it doesn't exist and enjoy my Star Wars The Old Republic.
Well, yeah, because like the Mandalorian, I think is in like it's like 20 years before 7 anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So whatever Thrawn does doesn't necessarily affect the story.
And given it's 20 years before 7, right?
Yeah.
All the stuff with Grogu.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. Don't tell me you're thinking about when he gets taken by Luke and like you know the whole temple thing.
Make the sequels canon in that case, right?
Mm.
Because A, like that character's really popular, and B, it doesn't make any sense, right? If Luke had someone like Grogu, how the fuck did he lose to Kylo Ren ever?
Don't come to the Jedi Temple, Ben texts to Grogu.
Forget his own powers, right? Because Luke could absolutely demolish him, right?
Yeah.
Even though, again, it makes no sense for his character to make that decision, given Luke literally.
Yeah, rationally doesn't make any sense for him to try and kill Ben anyway.
He wouldn't make that decision, right? And irrationally, he wouldn't make that decision because he flirted with the dark side himself. Dude has plenty of dark side powers.
Yeah, I think everyone here hates Ryan Johnson.
People, like Luke does plenty of dark side stuff, and he doesn't turn dark.
Oh, he does it in like Legends as well. Like, there's a time where he got cloned by the Emperor.
Well, Luke's more of a quote-unquote great Jedi.
Yeah.
Right? Because honestly, if we're baseline Jedi are terrible. They are absolutely mind-numbingly brain dead.
Oh, they are hypocrites, honestly.
Like, Luke reminds me more of like one of the better old Republic Sith, right? Because while they did work for the Emperor, the Sith were allowed a lot of autonomy.
Yeah, to do whatever they want. I mean, yeah.
Cruel murderous Sith that just like killing people.
Genocide is pretty
Then
no.
you have Sith like Darth Maul, who was a strong military strategist.
Yeah.
The Empire safe, right? You have those kind of Sith, right? They're not afraid to make hard decisions because they're not bogged down by regulations, because he's a Dark Council member.
And Sith, yeah. Sith has sort of believe in freedom.
He doesn't enjoy senseless violence, he doesn't just do it for the fun of it, right? And while it's not a perfect system, Lamau, it's just like
Lamau, the Sith die, hey, like Steve.
Yeah,
I mean, the Sith get overthrown. They think the Jedi think they're extinct in like episode 1. So.
Council version of the Sith before the Rule of Two were infinitely cooler, and hell, they were probably a more stable fucking government than anything the Republic does, which I find quite funny.
I know. What do you think of the Rule of Two? I know we're doing like. I know this is meant to be what we're up to, but like Star Wars lore, man, gotta do it.
But let's just finish up.
Yeah. We can tangent that like next episode, I guess.
I mean, other than Darth Bane being an absolute brain-dead hypocritical moron, it's stupid from a point, like, no one actually enforces the Rule of Two properly anyway.
Palpatine. Like, he had an apprentice, like, in episode 1, like, more, and he still had his master.
He's got all of the Inquisitors.
Oh yeah, in canon as well. Yeah, the Inquisitors.
He tried to recruit more. He has plenty of people who use the Force. Wait, how is the Rule of Two in effect?
Yep, based. I think that just highlights how much of a hypocrite Palpatine is.
Sith, quote unquote. Yes, they fucking are.
I mean, they're trained by Darth Vader.
Was Force choking people throwing lightning around.
The spinny lightsaber. I think that's the only thing I like about new canon is the idea of the Inquisitors. It's just cool.
Favor, right? You're a Sith. You're a Force user, right? You train.
They're basically Sith without the tag, I guess.
Lightsaber because they don't have the controls.
Yeah. The Sith without the tag, I guess. Like the actual name of Sith. They're Sith in all but name. It's like Kylo Ren, but I don't want to talk about the sequel trilogy. It gives me nightmares.
The thing is with the Dark Council compared to the Rule of Two, like Dark Finn's argument was, it makes the Sith more split up.
Yeah.
Like, the constant infighting, right?
You
do that anyway.
Yeah, Palpatine literally did that. Like, he wanted to recruit Luke, or for the only reason to replace Vader, because Luke's more powerful.
Like, the Sith do that anyway, like 90% of Sith apprentices after the Rule of Two killed their master.
Yeah.
Whereas with the Dark Council setup, there was a bit more political maneuvering.
Yeah, it was based around trying to vie for more power than necessarily just kill your master.
I like that kind of political maneuvering, just plot points, back table dealings, backstabbing, plot.
I think that's why the only reason I liked the prequel trilogy, it had a political element to it, which was interesting. It's a dynamic. Palpatine's rise to power.
Republic so much, right? There is so much political maneuvering going on top of the actual Sith versus Jedi war, right? On both sides of the table, dude. You had the Sith Academy and you had the Jedi Academy where they were actually training aspirants and stuff. It's really fucking cool. That's why I'm glad they're making it canon, right? Even if it's not. Even if there won't be all of it, and to some degree.
Yeah. It's not fully canon, but Revan's canon, so they can certainly bring elements back of the New Republic, Old Republic back.
Old Republic 1 or 2, that basically okays them, right?
Yeah. They might adjust it slightly for story reasons, yeah.
So, we've had the Mandalorian Wars previously, where Revan wins from Solo, puts on the mask and everything.
I mean, I think is it mentioned in the Mandalorian? The Mandalorian Wars? I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
Like at one point by Boba Fett or something.
They find Revan's mask in the comics.
Oh yeah. Is this the canon comics?
Yeah, in the canon comics they find his mask.
No way.
Pretty sure anyway.
I'm gonna search this up because there's probably a Darth Revan mask page.
But I'm 100% sure they find an artifact of Revan.
Yeah. Revan's mask on Wikipedia. Oh, it's only legends at the moment. Weird. But I mean, he is canon though, so that'll be fun. Can they just get this High Republic stuff out of the way? Because it's actually boring. It's just about 500 years of peace before Episode 1. That's a bit boring. Or 200 years. Anyway, I think we should wrap this. So that was fun. Oh man.
It might just be a Revan. It might just be a fucking Legends comic though.
Yeah. Was this Vader?
Yeah, because Vader's the one who finds it.
Alright. I'm gonna wrap this, I guess. Well, that's a spoil hell part, but who cares? I mean, we warned you. That was Just the Moment, Episode 1, Afghanistan and Chaos. Well, this entire episode was chaos, but that was fun. That's the end of it. See ya.